Undisputed.
Hi there, everybody, and welcome into today's Undisputed. I'm Jen Hale here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Gentlemen, I have a feeling this is going to be one of my favorite shows ever. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Well, you've been ducking me for a couple of days, and now there's nowhere to hide today. Well, you're going to have to be running and hiding over Trey Young.
I just needed to wipe my three cases and do what in my dressing room. I was expecting 3 cases in my dressing room when I got
because
back.
the 97 that you owe me have never been in my dressing room for the whole time, and I will never see them. Thank you very much.
They're coming. They're coming.
Yeah. Checks in the mail.
So much to get to with these NBA playoffs. They are fantastic so far.
Yes.
So let's jump right in because you know what? Nets guard Kyrie Irving, remember when he went off against the Celtics? 39 points in Sunday's Game 1 loss. And yesterday, he was hit with a $50,000 fine for giving the middle finger to Boston fans multiple times. Brooklyn looking to even the series in Game 2 tonight. Shannon, do you expect Kyrie to go back at Celtics fans the way he did in Game 1 despite that fine?
No, he just got a $50,000 fine, Skip. And I'm sure the NBA warned him, Kyrie, this could lead to a suspension. And the last thing that Kyrie Irving wants to do is to do something that puts his team in further jeopardy. He understands that not getting back the mandate probably put them in a situation where they were in the play-in tournament, Skip, end up being the 7th seed, probably could have had a higher seed, probably could have had home court advantage. Who knows, maybe throughout the entirety of the playoff, if Kyrie was playing in the regular season like he's played the last half when he got back. So I do not expect Kyrie to have the antics that he had in Sunday's ball game. Do I expect some talking? Do I expect some long stares after he makes a shot? Sure. But, Skip, I don't think he's going to take it to the level in which he elevated it on Sunday. Because I can assure you, Commissioner Silver will not tolerate another outburst like he had. I'm thinking that if he were to do that again, it's probably going to be a suspension. And that's the last thing Kyrie Irving wants. And plus, he's too skilled of a player. Now, don't think the Boston Celtics fans aren't going to try and rile him up. Little do they know, they did a terrible job. If they thought they got under his skin, yeah, you got him a $50,000 fine, but he almost single-handedly won that game. He was sensational. I expect him, and I don't know if he'll be as sensational, but I think he'll be undeterred by the antics that's going on around him. I expect Kyrie Irving to maybe do a little talking, very little, because he's not a talker, but he will give you a long stare to let you know, I heard what you said, and it's not affecting my play. So for me, Skip, I don't expect to see what we saw Sunday night. That was a 10. Maybe he's down to a 2. Maybe some stares like, it's your guys' fault that this is going on. But Skip, no, I do not expect to see tonight what we saw Sunday.
Okay, so you have described what happened Sunday as a 10.
Yeah.
And that's on a back-and-forth scale, right?
Yes.
I believe these Celtic fans tonight...
They're going to a 12.
They're easily going to a 12.
Yeah, they're
going to
say
12.
Yeah.
This will escalate. He has escalated it. It could also benefit him greatly for it to escalate because he fed off it in the fourth quarter and merely scored 18 points with his fire being fed by those fans.
Yes.
Okay. So how will he respond tonight? Maybe this is more heart than head, but the more I thought about what he did on Sunday, I got to admit to you, the more I liked it. It was revolutionary. It was groundbreaking. Kyrie likes to be a crusader. He likes to shatter the mold.
Right.
And I just have a feeling he'll go back just as strongly tonight as he did on Sunday.
You actually think he might flip the fans off again?
I do.
Oh, no.
Okay, so we both thought, I think we both went to 50 grand because he got, it was 25 for the last time, I think 50. Okay, so what's the next one? 75, 100? The money won't matter to him because he's got plenty of money the last time I checked. So I don't think that will bother him. Obviously, if it got to suspension level, that would bother him because that would really, really bother his teammates.
Don't you think, Skip,
I just don't know.
They warned him?
The most shocking thing I've ever seen in all my years covering playoff games was that Draymond Green actually got suspended for a Game 5 back at Oracle when they were up 3-1.
Correct.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't sort of stomach it. I couldn't tolerate it because it just felt wrong to take a key component. He was called their glue player at that point. You could still argue he is to this day.
He is, yep.
But to take him out of the lineup completely for a whole game that became, as you know, a pivotal game in the career of one LeBron James, because it turned the whole series around, what was shocking to me, because you can't tamper with the integrity, especially of the finals. And in this case, let's say he goes double bird again one time tonight.
He's going to get suspended.
Okay, you really think so?
Yeah.
Because, boy, that's a huge thing. Okay, what if they lose tonight off the double bird and they go home and he can't play in game 3?
Because you know what? Why did Drake? This wasn't an isolated incident with Draymond. This wasn't the first time that he had did what he done to LeBron James. The NBA had warned him.
He had kicked Steven Adams in the midsection.
Got a couple of guys. So I believe in the wording of the language when they sent that letter to Kyrie. They probably had a talk. Kyrie, any further outbursts of this nature could warrant a suspension. Why would you, Skip? Why would you even say, man, I hope the NBA doesn't suspend him. I know Kyrie did this, and I know they probably warned him. Why would you even put your team in this situation, knowing that the possible ramifications?
I got you. Yet sometimes the suspension is all about the climate and the context of said whatever rule breaking, whatever law breaking there was here. Okay, so what's the climate and the context of this one? I felt like the bird and the double bird drew some sympathy from players around the league, because you have agreed with me that fan verbal abuse has escalated over the top and over the line.
Yes.
Where it's gone completely profane.
Right.
And you pointed out, you Googled the guy, Robin
Ficker.
Ficker, yeah. Ficker. In Washington was almost a celebrity heckler for years and years, but he actually had rehearsed his lines, and he had lines, he had bits, he had jokes for everybody, but it all stayed pretty G-rated.
It did.
He would peck away, but it was all, you could laugh it off.
It was almost like, Skip, the visiting team, they expected it. They looked forward to seeing him at the ball game.
They did. These are Boston fans who have a reputation already that goes back years and years and years to the great Bill Russell back in the 60s. Right. And now it's gone completely over the edge into all kinds of profanity. And to Kyrie's credit, after the game, he actually detailed the profanity, which may have helped get him fined. But he went ahead and blurted out the words that he had heard himself called. I, for one, appreciated that, because I've said to you many times, we sit here with our hands up in the air because we're not sure what exactly was it? How far did it go? Right. Well, if it were just this, I'd be okay with that. But if it were that, I wouldn't be okay with that, and I would want to go back at the fan too. Right. So I believe a part of you empathized with Kyrie, because there's a big part of you that would want to do just exactly the same that he did.
Skip, look, and you know, you hear guys and Shaq and Charles talk about, you know, they got things, but I just think the vitriol has been ramped up over the last 5-10 years. People feel they can say anything, can call you out of your name. And then Kyrie says, you know what, at what point in time do we say, you know what, the NBA, y'all not doing anything, do I protect myself?
Okay. So I told you, in all my career covering any of the leagues, yours or this one or baseball, I'd never seen an athlete consistently through a game go back at his, they're not even hecklers, they're abusers. They're
especially during the game, Skip. Now, you've seen guys getting thrown out the game, they give you the double bird as they're leaving, or they flip somebody off as they're leaving, but not during the actual course of the game.
No, and it was consistent, and Kyrie stood his ground after the game, and he said, I'm going to go back at them with the same energy. And because he's built the way he's built, I have this grudging respect for him. And I told you on Monday, I slept on it, and then I started thinking, you know, I've always been a little bit anti-Kyrie, because the whole vax issue, anti-vax.
Kind of rubbed you the wrong way.
It got me the wrong way, because we all had to participate for the sake of our team. We all had to sacrifice. Whether you believed in it or not, everybody who really knows about it said, this will work. And I think it's pretty much worked. Yes. And it allowed you and I to come back in here barely 6 feet away, right?
Yeah.
a lot sooner than we probably should have.
Yes.
Okay, so we sacrificed for the sake of the team, just like he should have, because he continued to get paid whatever I don't know what he makes, $40-odd million. And there was no sacrifice on his part as far as losing his job, yet he said, I'm doing this for all the people who've lost their job. Well, you didn't lose yours. You didn't lose your paycheck at all.
You still get paid.
Yeah, and you're making way more money than most of those people are making.
Correct.
So despite that, despite all the conspiracy theories about Illuminati or Earth is flat, I just finally came around to this young man's got guts.
Right.
He has the courage of his convictions. And he's the first one I ever saw say, I've just had enough of this. So I'm going back at them, and I'm not going to stop the whole game. And furthermore, I'm going to back it up in the fourth quarter. The more they talk, the more I'll make.
You know what, Skip Bayless? I think the reason why you like Kyrie because you see a lot of yourself in Kyrie.
I do. I do. It finally dawned on me, and I'm not endorsing a lot of the things he says or believes in.
Right.
But this is a young man who says, okay, my faith says I should fast during Ramadan, and I'm just going to fast.
I'm going to do it.
And I'm like, way to go.
Right.
Way to go. That's a beautiful thing. And I hope it's not affecting his performance. It didn't seem to then. Because the one thing about Ramadan, as far as I know, as much as I read, once the sun does go down, then you can
eat and drink.
You can feast.
Yes.
Okay, so at least he's keeping his strength up.
Right.
But I'm sure during the day, according to him, he is observing Ramadan.
Right.
Okay.
And the most famous player that I can remember in basketball is Hakeem Olajuwon.
That is correct. Okay. So all of the above finally hit.